Science is back.
And I choose science over fiction. And so if the science is demonstrating it's doing great damage, then I don't care what it does to a small business person who's selling this stuff. If it is damaging lungs, if it's causing the kind of damage that is said, and that study's not been fully done yet, if it turns out that it is, then I would eliminate it. I would make it, I would go after it in a hard way. I would make it broader, not just for he is.
If we get asked a specific question by a teen, either a direct message to us or via social media about the relative harms of vaping versus cigarettes, we try to be as clear as possible that if your comparator is a cigarette, vaping is less harmful.
In England, the Royal College of Physicians has apparently done a great deal of research on e-cigarettes, and they have actually found that compared to smoking cigarettes, the rate of damage from e-cigarettes is 5% of what it is from smoking traditional cigarettes. You're reducing the damage by 95%. Hey, I don't think vaping or e-cigarettes are good for you. But if you have to choose between smoking and vaping, I happen to feel that vaping is safer. I don't think vaping is good for you, but it's better than smoking.
We're going to choose science over fiction.
And FDA has not used that terminology to use the most recent estimates of youth use. I will say that I'm an epidemiologist by training, so I'm fully cognizant of the definition of an epidemic, which is unprecedented increases over what you'd expect at baseline. That said, I think and know that the science has shown a decline in the number of youth users, and that's a good thing.
The FDA today calling it a dangerous epidemic.
The FDA calls teen vaping an epidemic.
Epidemic.
I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated.
Vaping is not as harmful as smoking. Kids are kids, and there's many, many, many reasons why they choose to do different types of things.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
To confuse the public about science, to confuse scientists about science.
I'm dying to see what America's going to do to this. I'll use my favourite word again, clusterfuck, 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 clusterfuck.
It's a trap! It actually is a trap.
It's a trap! It's a trap! Hello, and happy Friday night to all of you people. I am you people. I said it, you people. Anyway, how in the hell is your Friday? Let me get this thing situated. You know, I've been watching a lot of like other podcasters, and you'll see like Bill Maher or Joe Rogan. Every time they reposition, they grab a hold of their mic and they drag it with them when they're on the show. I'm not going to do that. So, you know, if my volume changes, if I move my head a little bit, I'm not going to go over here and constantly just not doing it. So anyway, how are you people? Michelle Elliott is here, and Addie's here, and Michael's here, and Steve is here, and James R is here. There's people here in the chat. Yes. So we're doing our thing. I actually just sent Kevin the link like right before I went live because I was enjoying some seared sea scallops that I have acquired. They were awesome, and a grilled tuna steak on this fine Lenten Friday. You know, I do have to. You know, I'm a cat. You know, I'm kind of a Catholic, but you know, during Lent, you're supposed to give up meat on Fridays, right? Because it's supposed to be a sacrifice. You're supposed to be sacrificing by eating, you know, fish. And I'm like, do you realize the high quality seafood that we have? I mean, it's not really a sacrifice anymore. I mean, it's pretty damn good stuff. So I cooked a steak too, but I didn't eat it. It's in there. I might after midnight go and have a piece of steak, but so that way I'm not breaking the rules or anything. But you know, anyway, let me get oh, what did I just do? Oh, there he goes. Yeah, I almost messed up. Let me get Kevin in here.
You know, I'm not quite sure how I can make you not annoying.
That is absolutely not possible. Look at Kevin's epic face covering. He's wearing. It's like he's wearing a face diaper. You know.
Happy Friday, you
There.
fucker.
He's trying to hide his face from you guys so that you can't see his expression of what he really thinks about you.
Oh, that's what I think about you, Patrick. That's more.
Well, that could be.
You see Michelle and Mallory are both in the room, right?
Oh, I miss Mallory. I missed Mallory, and she was probably the very first one in here too. I didn't say hello to her. Hello, Mallory, because I started with Michelle and worked my way up. So I feel kind of bad.
Mallory's like freaking first every time lately. I think she should have a badge.
There is a war between her and
Michelle.
No, not Michelle. There's a little bit of a war going on though, because sometimes Steve will show up first and say, "I beat you, Mallory."
Oh.
And Omicidal is now here as well. There's some silent watchers over at the Rumble. We appreciate you, Rumble people. We will get to the Biden blindness syndrome discussion later. So this pre-show portion is the YouTube portion of the show. If you hang on, we will be over there in about an hour, specifically talking just about the Biden blindness syndrome, which is a new phrase that I have coined. Hey, Victor just showed up too. It's a new coin that I phrased for all of the people that are blinded to all of the problems of Joe Biden. Victor. You know, they have a Trump derangement syndrome. Now we have Biden blindness syndrome, which is, again,
this is the best you got.
This means that the people are just, messed up. We're just fucked right now. But anyway, so how was your week, Kev? How was your
quiet and good. I learned how to take my Dash cluster out of my truck and put it back in nicely, and then take it back out and put it back in. That was fun.
Well, that sounds like something I would never even want to try to do or want to do.
Stop being a wuss. It's a reminder. You got me till midnight now. Remember?
No, my car is under like manufacturer warranty, so I don't need to be fucking around with the Dash. I got people to do that.
I have people to do that.
I got people.
Oh my God, people.
Yeah. So if we're not done, we'll just draft somebody from the chat room to come in and replace you. It's no.
All right.
You are not irreplaceable.
I'm easily replaceable.
Just know that.
All you need is a finger and a few bad words, and you'll do just fine. That's all.
Well, Jason actually went out and got a finger for when he was replacing you. So
that's cool.
Just saying.
Michael, it was not as big a pain in the ass as I thought.
He pulled out all the stops to try to fill your spot, and then he was upset that I didn't pick on him as much as I pick on you.
Yeah, well,
I'm like, well, you're still new. I don't know what buttons.
You're still new. You got that new co-host smell.
Yeah. Did you see that I interacted with our friend Big Knowledge Chris today? Did you see that?
I hearted one of the tweets, yeah, because Tootsie Rolls, whatever. Everything's fine.
He had the most depressed look on his face, and I was like, where's that patented Chris Big Knowledge grin? That makes
so
that
beautiful
makes you so
too, and
beautiful.
I don't understand. Yeah,
and
because
I said you need to have a Tootsie Roll to put a smile back on that sour puss face.
It's like sour jerky. Tootsie Rolls. They really, yeah.
But here's your hat ad. Our first hat ad for the night.
All right.
It's not even Houston Oilers hats this time.
You'd think by now they'd sponsor us.
You would think. I mean, they're getting a lot of airtime on my show here. Right now, there's currently 2 ads for the same place right here on the screen at the same time. But did you see? Have you seen the mass? They've pulled out all of the stops on the anti-snus, anti-nicotine pouch war. Like they're already rolling out like this. Like one child in the whole country has purchased a nicotine pouch. Now all of a sudden it is an epidemic.
You know what I don't know, and I can't figure
lots
out.
of things.
Among the other things, there's no video of these fuckers buying this shit, so they all need to fuck off. That's what.
Well, I mean,
no.
When I was a kid, I went to high school. There were kids that chewed tobacco,
but there were no
had
cameras.
Just roll, pouches of beech nut in their pocket. Slugs,
the obligatory circle,
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It existed. It happened. So we can't say that this product doesn't fill that same niche, right?
No, I'm not saying it's not happening.
Is it an epidemic, Kevin?
Because
now they're saying that more teens are using nicotine pouches than the epidemic of vaping, Kevin. I mean,
there's more stories about teen epidemics in this genre than there are teens.
Now there's literally a third ad. What the hell?
Well, there you go.
They really want me to buy a hat. What is this here? Oh, it's a video. Well, let's see. I'm sure there's going to be a fucking commercial, so bear with me for just a second.
Propaganda begins.
Watch the circle.
Over and over and over.
Oh, now there's a fucking commercial for New Era hats.
That's because you said that.
Well, according to a recent study by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, fewer high schools are vaping. While the number is trending down, there has been a rise in teens using nicotine pouches. Now, Cody Orchard with the South Central Public Health District said that they have seen teens using nicotine pouches as a substitute for their cravings because the pouches go in your mouth. Teens are using them in.
Yeah. Well, she already said mouth after I said that, but they're easily concealable.
Well, that's true. I mean, now they're going to be going around. You ever watch an old Western?
Been going to begin with.
You ever watch an old Western and the guy goes up and checks the horse's hooves and opens its mouth and checks its teeth and that's what they're going to be doing to kids now. They're walking up and grabbing their lip and looking up. Okay, you can go into school now. Is that worse than a strip search?
Hey, did you hear the decline in vaping in high schools now?
Yeah, did you? All
of a sudden, holy shit! Look at that. It's America.
KMTV has declared that the youth vaping epidemic is over, and now the Zinsurrection has begun.
Next victims. The Zin.
School during class, Orchard said, just because they are a tobacco-free product, that doesn't mean there aren't still risks.
Nicotine can still increase heart rate, increase blood pressure.
Hey, we've seen this fucker before.
Cody Orchard.
Is that the guy from Family Guy?
Blood vessels and makes it harder for blood flow to get to like brain and your feet.
What? My back.
To like brain and your brain.
Increase
blood pressure. It constricts the blood vessels and makes it harder for blood flow to get to like brain and your feet. So I always tell people, like, if they're diabetic, a lot of times.
So he's giving the diabetic talk to teenagers.
What?
It's going to constrict the blood flow to your feet, and
your feet and brain.
You could develop diabetic ulcers on your feet, and then lose your toes. And
this is why we can't have nice things.
Oh my! I mean, I feel really bad for the South Central Public Health District that Cody Orchard
is a dumbass. Oh my goodness.
I just, Oh, and Cody, or not Cody. Hey, Jay's in the room. You see that? I haven't seen Jay in a long time. JT, he, back in the day, JT actually had a show on Smoke-Free Radio.
No kidding.
He's a crazy guy, and he's like an arty dude now. Like he's got like a social media art company thing going on over there.
Ooh.
What's up, JT? Yeah, let's listen to this schmuck talk some more.
Smoking, vaping, chewing, whatever, isn't like the best thing for diabetic because it could actually lead to decreased circulation in the feet, right? Stuff like that.
He's still having the diabetic
is in the early
talk.
stages.
How did you do that?
About teenagers.
How does that happen?
Holy shit! And he's like, he
didn't even talk about diabetes.
He's representing the county health department. He's supposed to be some sort of authority.
Rewind that to the beginning of his stupid face for me, please, just to be sure.
During class, Orchard said, just because they are a tobacco-free product, that doesn't mean there aren't still risks.
Nicotine can still increase heart rate, increase blood pressure. It constricts the blood vessels and makes it harder for blood flow to get to like brain and your feet. So I always tell people, like, if they're diabetic, a lot of times smoking, vaping, chewing, whatever, isn't like the best thing.
Why did you make me replay this?
I wanted to make sure that there was no lead into the diabetes. He just went heart, blood, feet, hats, and then diabetic. Okay. I just wanted to be sure.
Did you see Tic Tac showed up too?
What?
Yeah. Haven't seen him in a while.
Now the fucking neighborhood goes to hell.
Holy shit.
For diabetic, because it could actually lead to decreased circulation in the feet, right? Stuff like that.
Orchard said Congress is in the early stages to make.
All right, Kevin. I've been vaping for 14 years.
Yeah.
Give or take a few months.
Yeah.
So I've been around a while. And I haven't heard of any vaping person that I know of, and I know a few that are diabetic that have developed skin, pressure ulcers or diabetic related ulcers on their feet. Gone into any sort of ketoacidosis or any health related problems because of the sweeteners and the sugars that are in vapes. So, this guy, and literally, I am not exaggerating. I know thousands of people that vape, or I have at least interacted with thousands of people that vape, traveling all over, doing events, meeting people, yada, yada, yada. Standing on stage and acting like an idiot and telling people to fight their government, yada, yada, yada. Never have I heard anybody, or nobody's ever raised their hand and said, and let's be honest, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
I am the average I'm a big dude. I'm chubby. I'm fat. I'm not going to, there's a lot, a lot. We sold more 4 and 5 XL t-shirts in the vaping community than we did small ones. I still have, I think I probably still have a box of small t-shirts in my closet because there wasn't that many. The girls, but not that many. So if there was going to be a diabetic crisis, we would have known about it by now.
Yeah, we would have.
That's all I'm trying to say.
I asked things,
poke fun at some of our chubby vapors as well. But I'm one of them, so it's okay.
Make a law that would prevent companies from marketing to teens by restricting certain flavors.
So they want to market. They want to limit marketing to teens, Kevin. Not by
you can't purchase them.
Talking about advertisements, not by talking about who can buy them, not by limiting any of that stuff. Let's just talk about the flavors. That's the marketing. Is the flavor.
What was the headline? What was the headline?
According to new report. Oh no, that yeah.
According to new reports,
According to new reports, teen using nicotine pouches more than vape pens.
Yeah. So they went from pouches that they didn't mention, really.
Very, very little bit to
that's how propaganda works, kids.
Vaping and nicotine.
And the diabetes.
The diabetes.
Poor,
you gotta say it like
Blumley. What's his name? Wilford
Brimley.
Yeah. You got the diabetes.
The diabetes.
So you got the sugar. You know, I don't. My wife's got it. You know. Thank God she's not zinning.
You definitely are showing your age when you refer to the diabetes as the sugar.
Oh, I love that guy. He was funny. Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah. See, Jan's doesn't spike or drop or whatever anymore. It's when she eats what she eats. That's what gets it. It doesn't do anything for nothing. And she's all flavors. She don't do anything but flavors. She likes the flavors.
She likes the flavors.
Yeah.
She's
been on zero nicotine for 6 months now.
And you're in like 120, right?
Yeah.
18.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Still at 18, and I'm still at 12, and I am not going any lower.
No intent. Who's this?
Look at this. Careful.
Rivers United Way recently received a grant by the Wisconsin Department of Health that will address the alarming rise of vaping among young adults.
The United Way, guys, that is a brand new nonprofit org that has decided to try to monetize.
But
yeah, I mean,
Patrick, a minute ago, Zippy's girl there said that it's in decline, and now he's saying it's an extreme uprising.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, when they said the snus or the zins were replacing the vapes, and they're using the term youth epidemic with the vapes, and if vaping is going down, and now more teenagers are somehow buying zins.
Here's an assignment for you.
There be a zindemic now? Is it?
Every time you read the Zin bullshit and the smokeless bullshit, just watch how the word vaping is just replaced, and it's the same exact.
It's going to be the same propaganda. They've already got all the the campaigns already made, so all they have to do is insert nicotine pouch or Zin or whatever brand that they want to go after. Zin is the new Juul.
Yeah.
So now that states have cashed out of the Juul lawsuits, now there will be a whole. This is my prediction, Kevin. In the next 4 years, there will be an entire new campaign of state lawsuits against Zin, the new Juul.
Yeah,
and I'm going to trademark that Zin, the new Juul, just so that they can't use that. Don't you steal my ideas, boys and girls? I'm just telling. That's mine. I
just filed it. Never mind.
I'm going to make a T-shirt.
A sweet pouch settlement.
Yeah.
Are you going to make a shirt?
I'm going to make a shirt that says Zin, the new Juul.
Who owns Zin?
Philip Morris.
Oh, well, they got the money. All right. Let Gooberhead talk here.
And youth alike. News 19's Tate Wisely joins us now. And Tate, what can you tell us about this grant?
Dustin, this grant...
All right. This guy's name is Tate Wise. Now, I know that last week I made fun of another newscaster with a very fake-sounding name. I mean, Tate is way too close to taint. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sure that this kid was bullied a lot when he was in high school.
Oh.
See, Addie even already did it for me. He typed it in the chat room.
Provided by the DHS will enable Great Rivers United Way to partner with schools and youth services organizations and create a strategy to diminish vaping and nicotine consumption.
Homicidal, just go to Urban Dictionary and type in taint. I'm not going to tell you what it is if you don't already know.
Among young individuals. This will involve executing a variety of initiatives aimed at enlightening caregivers.
Executing. Wow. That
United Way.
Agency personnel, and the youth themselves about the physical and psychological consequences of nicotine and e-cigarette usage.
We, over the years, have seen a reduction within the use of cigarettes, which is great. So we have, 3% of young people saying that they smoke cigarettes, compared to, almost 20% saying that they're vaping. So as one nicotine problem has reduced, we've seen the explosion of another.
And additionally, this grant will empower young.
What did that bitch just say?
Well, it was 3% for smoking, and that's great. And then it's 20% for vaping. Pay attention. Just don't touch it.
Which is great. So we have, 3% of young people saying that they smoke cigarettes, compared to, almost 20% saying that they're vaping. So as one nicotine problem has reduced, we've seen the explosion of another.
And additionally, this grant will empower young people with the resources to create positive decision-making abilities, better stress management, and develop effective coping mechanisms. And Dustin, according to Stanford Medicine, one modern vaping device holds around 650 milligrams of nicotine, which is the equivalent of about 590.
Don't say it. Don't you say it. Don't let him say it.
Cigarettes. Dustin.
Oh, my fucking
heart. Which is the equivalent of about 590 cigarettes. Dustin?
All right, thanks, Tate. And this grant comes in the form of just over $160,000, which will be split over the next 2 years.
How many? Well, that's a lot of money for fucking doing something everybody else has allegedly been doing and has declined, and now you're suddenly getting on the fucking bandwagon, United Way.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I wonder who else can get on there real quick before they. That's got like 7,000 cigarettes in it, Patrick. I'm surprised your head and your feet don't have any blood left.
No, I made this liquid. It's actually quite good. And it's been in here for like a long time.
Yeah. Well, because it's okay. You'll know if it isn't. It'll taste like buttery popcorn if it's that old.
Oh, I wish I had some buttery popcorn vape right now.
Well, according to some crazy ass in Florida, that's what you get.
There used to be a guy.
Yeah.
His name was Clinton. And he owned G2 Vapor. And he had a flavor called Carney Y4 that was a popcorn RY4 tobacco.
Oh.
And that shit was awesome.
Was it buttery?
Oh, it was great.
Did it mimic like theater popcorn butter? Sort of close.
There was a company in Austin though that had a flavor. The brand was called Hometown Hero. I don't even know if they're still around, but they had a strawberry popcorn.
Yeah.
That was very good as well.
Huh.
So, yeah. See, we're just, here, let's see what the hell George is doing. George is doing some shit, Kevin. Georgia. Let's see. Let's go.
6 illegal vapes found in some Georgia stores. And now lawmakers are working to make sure something is done about this. And News First reporter Abby Pistorius is reporting on the legislative effort at the Capitol, working to monitor and restrict what vaping products can be sold.
The Nicotine Vapor Products Directory Act would change the vaping industry here in Georgia.
Okay. So the Nicotine Vaping Directory Act. Now, this is the new thing that's going around. There's one going on in Florida now. There's one in this Georgia. I think I've seen a couple other. It's like 18 states total that are trying to push these new. So Louisiana passed one where you have to register your product with the state, even though you've already registered your product with the federal government, and this is going to, Victor said they beat it in Indiana. Yeah. So,
Some say for the better, others say for the worse. The bill would require the state's agriculture commissioner create a list of what products could be sold in Georgia stores. If a store is caught trying to sell something not...
Addie, can you just package up some diacetyl and send it to me? Thanks. All of these registry bills are designed by Big Tobacco to push the mom and pops out of business. Is all it is. This is we've been trying to get you to give us a monopoly for a long time. So here's a new way that you can hand the entire market segment to us. That's all this is.
This is a set of lawmakers in said states to make a law to keep children from illegal access of products. Is that how I understand it thus far?
Yeah, pretty much. That's.
Isn't it already, Your Honor, illegal for children under the age of 21 to access those said products?
Well, I mean, on first blush, Kevin, yes, this bill is supposed to prevent. That's what this is. One more way that we are going to prevent kids from getting these products. But in all actuality, it's just an anti-competition bill.
It's anti-bullshit story, but it's doubling the same law in a different way. You're rewording a law to make it sound like it's a new law, and then you're adding in all the other restrictions against adults and their freedoms. Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to be sure that I was still with you. I didn't know whether the blood thing.
I'm gonna talk to my friend Peggy to send me to let me order another one of these for my arsenal.
So they really don't want kids touching nicotine. That's I guess what I garner.
No, they only want kids touching the nicotine that they approve of.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. These are supposed to remove illegal products from the market.
Right, but cigarettes then they get a pass, I guess.
Of course they do, Kevin.
So by banning the vape, then they can smoke, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Of course, they would never get those ever.
No.
Out on the list, they could be fined.
You want to make sure what you're getting has been tested and approved.
The bill's sponsor, Representative Houston Gaines, says right
now, if they create a registry, Kevin,
I don't like.
How does that in any way, shape, or form? How in any way, shape, or form does that give the security that these products have been tested? All they're doing is asking for a list of products. They're not saying, hey, to get on our registry, you have to conduct these exams, these scientific exams, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Unless they're saying only FDA approved products can be sold, which would then decimate the entire industry and only give like 3 or 4 or 6 products.
Authorized, not approved. It's authorized.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah. So
they've been granted marketing orders.
You're veering so far off their narrative, Patrick. I wonder if you have I don't know. something else to say besides what they're telling us. An agenda of sorts.
There could be an agenda.
Right now, there is no regulatory body enforcing what is being sold in Georgia stores. This vape, he says, was purchased in Milton last week. The FDA banned it because the banana blueberry ice flavor is illegal.
If there's nobody enforcing shit now, who's going to enforce it when it's
Banana raspberry ice.
Well, I'm sorry, but I can't. I
guess Georgia's going to set up their own agency. They're going to. Every state is going to have their own nicotine products agency.
Nicotine SWAT.
That's what they're just going to circumvent FDA, and then they'll just
DEA, FDA, yeah. Okay.
The FDA banned it because the banana blueberry ice flavor is illegally marketing to children.
And you got
how is it a flavor marketing?
Oh my God.
I mean, I have been asking this question for like 12, 14 years, and no one has ever been able to tell me how a flavor is marketing.
I don't know.
Examples of fentanyl-laced, THC-laced vapes that have killed young people.
The state's Department of Public Health reports 42 cases of vaping-associated illness in Georgia, including 6 deaths. The bill specifies.
Yeah, that's going to go away real fast. Man.
You see.
Let's do that again.
Health reports 42 cases of vaping-associated illness in Georgia, including 6 deaths.
I actually want to go back to the part where he said there's been fentanyl-laced vapes that people have died from. Yeah, let's go over here.
Was a fentanyl-laced, THC-laced vapes that have killed young people.
Now, it wasn't the fact that they were laced with THC. It was the fact that they were laced with vitamin E acetate.
Well,
and there's been no reported deaths of fentanyl-related vaping deaths.
Nor THC, probably.
Well, there's no record of THC-related deaths because they blamed it on nicotine.
Right. Well, he got the word wrong.
But we already have a scientist, Kevin. We already have a scientist who works for the state of Tennessee who has declared that fentanyl cannot be transmitted or used or in any way, shape, or form successful in its delivery through a vape pen.
Right. Well, among others, yeah.
So,
once it sticks.
Yeah.
State's Department of Public Health reports 42 cases of vaping-associated illness in Georgia, including 6 deaths. The bill specifies 2 unannounced compliance checks every year. If a store is caught with a product not on the list, they could face fines or have their license suspended. Dylan Gilbert owns 9 vape stores in Columbus and Savannah.
We want common sense regulation, but unfortunately this bill is a death blow to our industry.
The American Vapors Manufacturers Association agrees. They say stores would close and the state should care. They collect $10 million each year from the state's 7-cent tax. More people were signed up to speak, but another committee needed the room. The chairman adjourned.
Yeah. Well, we're in the middle of hearing, but we have to. We can't hear any more any dissenting voices because another committee needs this room. Have a good day. Bye.
It's not your government; it's their government, and you need to stand down and shut up.
Do what was that, Kevin? What was that word?
Do as you're told.
You will.
Which word?
Yeah. Well, the one that you used to have on your little thing. I will not
comply.
That's the word.
Yeah. If my mother were alive, I'd bring her in, but I have a hard time complying with lots of little things. I really do.
Encourage people on that committee to do some research with the time. In Atlanta, I'm Abby Casaurus.
I got an idea. You fuckers should do a little research with your time before you spout stupidity.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid shit that you're just.
My God.
That you're just, spouting over there, Kevin. Just saying.
Just saying.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying too. I hope Jay Gray Digital's having fun with us. If he's still in the room.
I think he ran away.
He's probably like, what the hell is this? That's why I love everybody in the room.
I don't think you do.
23, Mallory. 23 of them are authorized.
Hey, Kevin.
What?
Are you aware of what time it is?
Is it already time?
It is. I
I'm
put
not even-
him right in the middle of the show.
Damn.
See that? I put him right in the middle of the vaping stuff. I put him into.
It's got to be. I'm not gonna not say X.
What?
But I'm not gonna say tweet either. It's time for the vape cats.
Give me a second.
X tweet of the week.
No, don't say it.
Did you change your mind?
No, my show notes. There's an issue here. 1 second. I gotta go to the YouTubes. Gotta go to the YouTubes to see if
I wonder. Hey, can we do like a prediction about how many times in the next 6 months to a year we have fentanyl laced Zyn? Is that going to be something?
Oh, that
wouldn't that be
actually
fun? That would be fun. We could probably plant a story for it.
That's
Just
actually
like that.
something that could happen, Kevin.
Fentanyl.
Not that the fentanyl. Well, actually, it's oral, so you could actually.
Come on,
deliver
it'll be
it that
fun.
way.
It'll be fun,
It's actually,
right? I mean, it's come on.
yeah.
As much shit as they make up, I'm sure it'll happen. Just
you
can
tweet.
thank me later. What are you over there doing?
I lost a tweet, but I just got it here. I got it back.
You see, he said tweet.
Well, X post, whatever.
Oh, maybe Tide Pod Zyn laced. Oh, come on. Just come on.
Now you're just giving them too many valuable ideas.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Little fuckers will have their mouths cleaned out at the same. I'm ready.
No, we're all good to go now. I got everything lined up here. I need a producer. That's what I need, Kevin.
Is that what you need?
Yeah.
Well,
that's not the right one. That's the one above the one I want.
It's time for the Vape Cats X of the Week.
Wow. So I've been loving Stan's tweets the last couple of weeks.
Yes, of course.
But this one is near and dear to my heart because we've talked about this on the show. Because there are a certain segment of people in our air quotes community,
yeah,
who will throw the baby out with the bathwater and attack and malign and do say horrible things about products that help people. And if a disposable vape keeps somebody from smoking, then you know what?
Yeah,
it should be allowed. So Stan says here, fucking hell. Now I've got so-called vape consultants shitting on disposables and closed pod systems because they don't sell them. For fuck's sake, folks, if you're not going to tell the truth, go and join the Truth Initiative or ASH.
Well,
I
I agree.
You know, and Ivana, she says it doesn't matter what vaping setup an ex-smoker uses to help them quit smoking or remain smoke-free. The goal is to become and remain smoke-free. We celebrate all wins every adult. But so yes, so Jared says it reminds me a few years ago when Heat Not Burn first appeared, and a number of purists crying that they wanted nothing to do with anything made by a big tobacco company, forgetting the whole point of harm reduction. Damn straight.
I was like that at first. I really was.
Yes, a small clique of narrow-minded asshats led by a reviewer who lambasted a certain activist who worked hard to help and then accused both him and the New Nicotine Alliance of being funded by Big Tobacco to promote Heat Not Burn. Yeah. So I don't know what that situation is, Kevin, but my belief, my 100% always belief is that if it helps somebody quit smoking, then it's a win. It's a good thing. Let's do that.
Here's my quote, just for the record, so everybody knows, because I've said it before, I've tweeted it umpteen times. I'm for whatever works for the informed consumer. Patch, gum, Heat Not Burn, vaping, snus, acupuncture, books, hypnosis, counseling. Do I like them all? Nope. It's not about me or what I like. It's about the consumer and what the consumer wants. And the consumer is first, and you can go fuck yourself.
I'm actually glad that you have just realized that you're not the most important person, Kevin.
I'm nowhere near the most important. I'm not sure what you meant, James. What is my nickname now? It's been real while.
He thinks that you might be Mick Chapman.
No. No, I'd add McChimpman.
That is the devil child of Stan Glantz and
I don't know. So whoever this
Simeon Chapman,
whoever, I don't care about. The tobacco companies are digging their own hole. They'll be fine. It'll be okay. Relax, Bubbles. I've actually had that nickname on occasion here and there.
What, Bubbles?
Yep.
Isn't that like Michael Jackson's chimp?
Yeah.
Wasn't it called Bubbles?
Among other things, yeah. Striptease, ladies, yeah.
I'm trying to multitask. Run a show here. Prime a Zenith coil.
Are you adding diacetyl to your Zenith coil, sir?
There is as far as I know, there is no diacetyl in my Cuban cigar coffee e-liquid.
Is that diacetyl in your pocket, or are you just happy?
Well, depending on who you ask, I'm never happy. So
well.
So this next X post, Kevin,
Mr. Bubble in the Tubble, Michael. Remember that? What? I'm ready.
Is from Sonia.
Oh yeah. See.
So, I actually like the fact that you led me down this rabbit hole, Kevin. Because
good. That was
I mean, Dr. Jasmine Kahua, she's our senior research associate at the University of Bristol, specializing in the psychology and epidemiology of e-cigarette use. And she has a thread. She's doing a thread here, Kev.
Yeah.
And it says, people smoke for nicotine but die from the tar. That's Mike Russell from 1976. But how do we know that nicotine isn't deadly? Let me explain while I tell you about our latest study. So she says, there is a lot of research on how nicotine affects health. The effects are mostly short-lived, like increased heart rate, blood pressure, and quickly return to normal. Clinical trials using nicotine patches have also shown it's safe when used for a short time.
Gasp.
Now there's that poor rat,
There's Vlad.
I really don't approve of these scientists using poor little rodents
leave
for
Vlad do his own choices and
scientific
rats have rights too.
Joseph Mengele experiments here. It says, but we know less about what nicotine does to health when it's used regularly for longer periods. Most of what we've learned has come from animal studies and from studies of people who smoke. Now, Kev, I don't have a PhD like Dr. Jasmine here does, but we do know
Yeah.
What part of the cigarette smoking experiences do the damage of the cigarette smoking experience, right?
I think so.
I think we have plenty of research that shows that this, the tars, the combustion, that those things are the ones that do the harm of the smoking. I think that's pretty widely accepted science now. I don't think we have to go out on a limb on that one. Yeah.
I don't agree with every single thing I've heard and seen and read, comma. It's pretty accurate. I'll say it's 90% right.
Right. But we do know that it's not the nicotine that's causing all of the, the really horrible aspects of the smoking. It's the bad stuff that's, this thing has got a lot of threads on it. There we go. So Dr. Jasmine goes on to say, this is problematic because we don't know if humans will react the same as animals.
Well,
and we then why in the hell are we doing all of the scientific experiments, for what's good and bad in humans? Why are we using poor monkeys and rats?
Well, no.
If we aren't sure.
The CDC and the Brits used the nicotine, lower nicotine cigarettes on kids under 18.
And remember, we did talk about humanized mice like 3 weeks ago on a show.
Yeah,
where they were talking about, specifically, engineering viruses and testing them on mice that have been humanized. So, I'm just concerned that Dr. Jasmine here is maybe not, knowledgeable enough about the humanized mice. When she makes her little comment there about whether or not humans are going to react the same as animals or whatever, because they have humanized mice. China's using it right now to test new viruses.
You said the word.
I did. I'm sorry, but I didn't say that's the one word.
Yeah.
The C word. I didn't say the C word.
That's true.
So anywho. Oh yeah. Until vapes became available, few people regularly use nicotine that hadn't smoked, and they haven't been around long enough to see effects in vapors. I mean, Kevin, didn't I just say that I've been vaping for like 14 years?
Yeah, I'm one of the kids at 10, and Janice, that's 20 years total right there. I don't know.
I mean, how long?
I don't know.
Should we wait to start seeing harms?
Well, there's some sense of security to me that we can watch people who are in charge of research saying we don't know enough. It's calming to them. It makes their little stickers pack up.
Well, no, I mean it makes it gives their bank accounts.
That's what I said.
A hard on, Kevin, is what.
That's why stickers packing up. I'm gonna link the Mr. Bubbles song into the chat just to. Mr. Bubble in the tub will get you silky clean. So as long as they don't know enough, Patrick, they've always got things to do.
Well, that's true. It's
and
job
I think
security.
That's really the whole point. You don't want people losing their jobs, do you?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Oh, well, I apologize.
That's where our new study comes in, Kevin. We've used genetics to try and tease apart the health effects of nicotine from the effects of everything else in cigarette smoke. I think we've done this before. I mean, this doesn't sound like new science to me. We found that nicotine is not driving the adverse health effects seen in people who smoke: poor lung function, chronic obstructive pulmonary COPD, lung cancer, and coronary heart disease. However, it does increase the heart rate, and so does caffeine. We found that, right, and my resting heart rate right now is like 72 beats per minute. I check it all the time. So, and I vape all the time. So 72 beats per minute is in the average heart rate for my age group, Kevin. And it's actually lower than the average heart rate for fat people like me, Kevin. So
that's good.
Yeah. So she says, we found this using an approach called Mendelian randomization. MR looks at how your genes are linked to both an exposure and an outcome to understand if there's a causal connection and account for confounding. Confusing. Confounding happens when factors other than the exposure being studied influence the results. Confounding can make it difficult to identify the true cause and effect. Yeah. Do you really want me to read all of this? Because this is really,
it's in the show notes, and it's really worth reading. But to go back to the origin of my,
but I want to quote Dr. Folds here, because he has been a rock star this week on Twitter. He says, until vapes became he's quoting her, few people regularly used nicotine that hadn't smoked. What about all the snus users in Sweden? Doesn't their long-term epidemiology already tell us clearly about the effects of nicotine without smoke?
Dirt.
This is true, I should say, without tobacco exposure, but snus use outside areas like Sweden are relatively uncommon, so there could be population societal impacts on those findings. This study helps add to that evidence base, studies with different biases showing the same thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got to go back up here to find the quote from our friend. I think it's
Sonia.
No, it's not. I'm trying to find Sonia's response here, Kevin, since
it might be the back or something.
It's to one of these. I'm looking at ones that have a reply. It's not the rat one. It's not that one.
It was a trap. I tricked you.
I fell down the rabbit hole, Kev.
You went down the rabbit hole way better than I thought.
Oh, it's this. It's under Charlie.
It's hidden. It was hidden a little bit, but I found it. I just like the way she worded it.
Confounded. Confounded, Kevin. I am confounded here.
I'm sure you are. Mr. Bubble in the tub will get you some.
Yeah.
Song about him.
But here, this is it. This is the response that you highlighted, was Sonia, who is under Charlie, where he said he admired Charles or Dr. Russell, Mike Russell.
Yeah.
But yeah, not everyone responds to nicotine in the same way. I was dependent on the hand-to-mouth ritual and the oral stimulus, and still am after more than 5 years of being a non-smoker. Although I usually vape with 3 milligram, this is not a must. Without vaping, I would smoke again. And there's quite a lot of people in our circle that would agree with that sentiment. That if I couldn't do this, I might go back to this. So,
that old familiar feeling. Yeah. It's like an old girlfriend, isn't it?
So I fell into one of your traps, Kevin.
All right.
So I saw this tweet that was talking about nicotine. Well, this is from Scientia Omni, who is a professional or a health professional focused on raising the bar of mental health literacy to uncover solutions buried in chaos around us, knowledge, wisdom, and insight. And it says here, sat back while Canadian government jacked up taxes on tobacco and nicotine products, black market will thrive and health and safety will conveniently be ignored. Don't worry, a lot more alternative anxiolytics available to choose from. British Columbia RCMP just got a shipment in, good times. So this is actually in response to a tweet from Beer Canada. In today's National Post, Perrin Beatty, president and CEO of Canadian Chamber of Commerce, encourages the finance minister to rethink a flawed alcohol escalator tax. Canadians should not be subject to another tax increase tied to inflation that fuels higher prices. So it's an anti-tax tweet.
Wow.
Anti-beer tax tweet. But
Right.
I liked it because there was a nicotine,
Yep.
it's just you're just making a new black market, yada, yada, yada. But then I scrolled through, Kevin.
As you will.
And her job is to literally make life worse for Canadians.
Yeah.
Wanda here says people that earn over 250,000 lost 53.5% of it to taxes. Our taxes must be cut in half. Again, this is the one that they think it's funnier when they seize people's banks. So there was a bunch of people that made fun of Trump recently because he said that people had been debanked, and a bunch of progressive liberal people made fun of him because they said he was making up a word, debanked, that's not a real word. It actually is a real thing. And a bunch of the Canadian truckers and other people that have been, protesting against the government have recently found it impossible to start a new bank account or to access their already existing bank accounts because they have been debanked.
Wow.
So that's what am I just a crazy guy here is referring to. They think it's funnier when they seize people's bank accounts. And then Paco here, this was one of the tweets that really disturbed me. It says, I'm perfectly okay with taxing the hell out of tobacco, alcohol, weed, and casinos. So this is one of those, it doesn't affect me, so it's okay for you guys to punish other people.
Yeah.
This guy seems happy to punish other people for their behaviors.
Well, that's because it doesn't affect him. He doesn't care about you or me.
So,
or anybody.
And this is not just in Canada. This is happening here in the States where people are like, well, it doesn't really affect me. Or
Don't care.
I'm okay being told what to do.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's the generation.
Comply.
Generation millennial Z, whatever you want to call it. There have been studies that are showing that these people are less likely to argue with authority, even if it negatively impacts them.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't understand why.
Yeah. So alcohol awareness here says high priority to reduce harmful drinking and harms, raise prices and taxes like cigarettes. So, they keep booze stores open during the scandemic to avoid a revolution. Now they believe that they have beaten down Canadians enough to do whatever they want. So, I mean, Canadians are kind of known for being like, nicer, less aggressive, less resistant. So I just, I just saw that and I'm just like, this is even the Canadians are now realizing that, they need to stand up and raise their voices a little bit.
I remember Ray being angry a few times.
Yeah. And but Ivana as well. But
yes,
just the fact that so many Canadians are also willing to say, yeah, punish those people that behave differently than me. That's it. Yeah.
That's the drug addict mentality. Well, they're just drug addicts.
That's the anti-drug addict mentality.
Well, you know what I mean. Thanks for clarifying my statement. Because, well, I don't give a fuck about those people. That's not my problem.
Oh,
not in my backyard. NIMBYs.
Yeah.
They're NIMBYs. That's all it is.
And then the last one is from Lance Legion. And he says, sedate the masses, make them passive and ready for the yoke of tyranny. Notice that steroids, meth, nicotine, all drugs that help accomplish superhuman performances, make them unruly subjects, are still illegal and heavily regulated with the intent of extirpating them.
Yes.
So
Dumb
this
them
is
down.
in response to Germany has now decided to legalize cannabis.
All I can say is it's about fucking time. Every time I hear the words legalizing cannabis, who cares? What's the difference? Taxes. That's the only difference.
They're again. Germany is one of those countries that are anti-nicotine, though, Kevin. They're pro-cannabis and anti-nicotine, which doesn't make any damn sense to me. And like Lance says, it's okay to have this because this will make you lazy and
money,
less energetic to get off the fucking couch.
Comply.
Reduce your mental focus. I always think it's funny that people say, I thought of some great shit while I was high, and then they start explaining it to you and you're like, that's pretty lame. But when you're high, it sounds cool.
And then you forget half of it anyway. That's why it's lame.
That too.
That could or might have happened to me. More studies are needed.
Yeah. So, in an effort to erase some of my negativity about where the trade organizations are, the last 2 weeks, there have been some pretty neat video presentations from VTA. So here's a new sharp produced ad for Utah that VTA has put together.
The leading cause of preventable death in the U.S. is smoking. So why is FDA using an obscure federal regulation known as the PMTA to ban e-cigarettes and take away the most effective tool for adult smokers looking to quit? FDA loves big tobacco. Between 2018 and 2022, FDA has used its power to approve 900 new cigarettes while approving only 8 e-cigarettes. FDA's PMTA process is so removing flavored e-cigarettes only leads to more smoking, more cigarette sales, more death. Talk about blowing smoke. Don't let big tobacco kill FDA says to Utah. Tell your state legislator to vote no SB 61. For more information and to learn how to get involved, visit vapor-technology.org.
Vapor-technology.org. So, well, it's brand new. That's why. That's what I said. I asked a few months ago where the hell they were, and all of a sudden here they are. The last couple of weeks, I saw Tony Abboud out and about talking on some stuff, and he made an appearance on a show. He's been on this show. I've had some quite productive conversations with him over the years. I don't dislike him. It's just that they disappeared for like a year and a half. I was like, where are they? But it appears that they're back. And that has a lot to do with funding. They're
sure.
He was doing a lot of shit for free because the last little bit that VTA was active, there was no money coming in.
Right.
So, but
industry.
I am willing.
Not consumer.
I am willing to promote their stuff because it looks like they're doing stuff now, which is good. Because when I asked what the trade organizations were doing, Allison got really mad at me and replied to my Twitter. Like she was like, I've been sending tweets out every week. And I'm like, well, okay, that's tweets. I do that. All right. So here, Kevin, this is from Wisconsin. Wisconsin. Let me open this Wisconsin thing. It says youth vaping. Wisconsin DHS awards 13 grants to organizations fighting the epidemic. No, we just talked about this, Kevin. There can't be an epidemic.
But there's always more money, Patrick.
If Zyn has passed vaping and vaping numbers are down and Zyn numbers are up, there can't be a vaping epidemic. It has to be a Zyn-demic, Kevin.
They're continuing to fight a ghost. That's what they're doing. Something that isn't there.
Thanks to the 2022 Juul settlement announced by the settlement announced by the Wisconsin Department of Justice, the Wisconsin Department of Health Services has allocated funds to 13 organizations in service of the vaping prevention and treatment initiatives. The grants, worth $830,000, will help local organizations over the next 2 years to address youth and young adult vaping.
Mm-hmm. Sure it will.
So they got to be really concerned about those young adults, Kevin. They're adults.
I'm sorry. Are you registering to vote? By the way, do you vape? Is that a Tide Pod in your mouth? Sorry.
E-cigarettes continue to put the health of kids in Wisconsin at risk, Attorney General Josh Kaul said on the February 15th press release. As these grants show, the funds we've secured from Juul are supporting efforts to combat the vaping epidemic. You know, what's really odd to me, Kevin, is these states, and I don't know for sure what the numbers are for Wisconsin on the master settlement agreement, but they get millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars every year from the master settlement agreement, and they're not using any of that money to fight smoking.
Yeah, they don't do stuff, do they?
But suddenly they get this Juul money, which is like $2 million. It's not, none of these states got massive amounts of money. They're all anywhere between 11 and like $2 million. Suddenly they're going to use some of that $11 million when they have hundreds of millions of dollars from the master settlement agreement that they've never used. Less than 1%.
Well, every life is important, is it not? See how I worded that? There's really no way to answer that but the right way, right?
It says here, what is the Juul settlement? The fact sheet, the following fact sheet provides information about the Juul settlement. So, okay, so they got 14 million. Okay,
yeah. But they're going to allocate 800,000. There's administrative fees and such.
Yeah. But anyway, there's that. So I just thought, I thought it was funny that they're using this money, Kevin. So last summer, the DHS Tobacco Prevention Control Program hosted listening sessions and online surveys to collect data about vaping from Wisconsin residents. According to the press release, this data informed the decision to monetarily support local organizations working to treat and prevent vaping. The concerns and ideas shared by Wisconsinites show the impact vaping has on communities across the state, said DHS Secretary Designee Kirsten Johnson in a press release. Through these grant awards, local organizations will protect teens and young adults in their communities from the dangers of nicotine addiction. And here's some information about what their efforts were, blah, blah, blah. The press release details how the money from the Juul settlement will be spent. The money will be used for community and school-based programs to prevent vaping and help teens and young adults quit, for research on vaping prevention and ways to decrease access to or the use of vapes. Decrease access to or the use of vapes. The main demographic catered to through the vaping prevention and treatment initiatives is teenagers and young adults up to 24 years old. And these are the organizations that got the money. So,
yeah,
I'm still baffled that they're so happy that they got this $14 or $15 million, and they're immediately spend $800 and something thousand for the next 2 years. But since 2000 or what? When was the master settlement? 1997. Is that right?
98.
98.
So it was in the works. So 98.
Yeah, so that's 2 plus 20. So for 26 years, Kevin, they've been collecting hundreds of millions of dollars, and they have all this money. Why wasn't they using some of that to prevent people from smoking over the last 20
years? I have the answer, sir. It's all in the wording. Try, possibly, may, could, might. So what does the word prevention mean?
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, Kevin.
The action of stopping something from happening or arising. Okay. So if they're preventing it from happening, they shouldn't ever have a job. However, what does control mean? Control means the power to influence or direct people's behavior or course of events. So they're keeping themselves within the job so they don't have to get themselves out of a job. And therefore they can apply for more grants. So they reproduce the problem.
Out of work, Kevin. I mean,
Well, there you go.
They got to work.
It's okay.
Work is important. We got to feed our families, put a roof over our heads. They got to do all sorts of stuff.
Well, how many times would you call a plumber to fix the same? You had an air guy. You said you got an air guy. If the air guy walked in and said, well, I'll be back next week because it's going to break again, how many times would you bring him back?
Not one time.
One more, and then you're done, right? One and done? There you go. It's okay.
But here. So the AP is reporting, Kevin, that vaping helps smokers quit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I don't know if I really like the cold start on this news piece, Kevin, but because there's nobody saying anything.
Oh, well, duh.
You hear birds?
I do.
This has a really long intro. Yeah. Here. Right about there.
I think our study is in line with the range of study, and so many participants have been now randomized in controlled trial. So that's there's nothing very new in our study. What we also aimed at is really to look very carefully at the safety.
So he said there's nothing new in our study. So this means that we already knew what our study was going to say, right?
We got the money and we confirmed what we already know.
But you got to keep listening here, Kev, because he says we already knew.
Yeah.
Right. So
also the study is ongoing. We will follow participants up at 12, 24 months, but also at 5 years. That means 16 months to continue to see how over time participants use these products and about long-term health.
So he says that they conducted the study. They're doing the study. It's a long-term study. We're going to get money for up to 5 years. It didn't tell us anything that we didn't already know.
Nothing alarming.
But the headline
Nothing
says
scary.
vaping helps smokers quit, say researchers.
Wow. Maybe that's the point of the birds.
So,
is that there's really nothing to say.
I'm wondering why they have so much B-roll here. I mean,
I'm a primary care doc, and smoking cessation is a core element of my daily clinical practice. So it's really important to know if people stop smoking, and I think that's becoming really clear in the literature that it helps to quit smoking.
A lot of B-roll. I don't know why they put so much B-roll in this, but
oh well.
Yeah, it is what it is. What it is. But he just said vaping helps people quit smoking, and we didn't get any new information out of this. He says, I mean, so he clearly, this is a scientist who's doing research, who's getting paid to do research.
Yeah.
Who says, we already knew that vaping helped people quit smoking.
Mm-hmm. We still know,
but we're going to do something. We did science to, we already knew this, but here's some science that says what we already knew, and we're gonna collect a check for the next 5 years.
Hey, this is something novel. They're actually using people. Check that shit out, huh? Where is this?
People who were given free e-cigarettes and e-liquid were almost twice as likely to quit smoking for at least 6 months than those who received usual care. The study also assessed the safety of using e-cigarettes to quit, finding no difference in the rate of serious adverse events or respiratory symptoms between groups.
So again, no increased risk
Imagine that.
of people that used our free e-cigarette, you know, people will vape if you say, "Hey,
sure.
here's your free kit, and we're going to give you free e-liquid.
Right.
Here's some naked mango." I think that's
Right.
I think it says mango there, or American Patriot nicotine e-liquid. Actually, the naked guys are pretty cool. I can't diss on them.
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually had the lava flow and the brain freeze. I've had both of these.
Didn't they do quite a bit of advocacy here in the U.S.? Or
a lot?
Okay. Yeah.
They literally paid the state dues for almost every state organization in the United States for like 2 years or something. Hundreds.
I was
hundreds
thinking
of
there
thousands
was a
of
lot of there. Yeah, I thought there was a lot of help. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they were.
It's a really delicate balancing act because what we want to do is try and make sure.
This is a really annoying video with good stuff in it, but I don't know why they have
it's not
minutes and minutes of B-roll.
I think it's I thought you were talking about the birds.
No, just the long periods in between the speakers. I should have downloaded this and cut out all the spaces in between, but
Sure that these products
I think
are
it makes
as
a point.
attractive and appealing as they can be to people who smoke to encourage them to switch to a much less harmful product. But in doing so, we don't want to make them too attractive to young people in particular who have never smoked.
So this is the difficulty. This is the impossible task. This is the John Wick, impossible task is to try to make something that appeals to grown-ups that doesn't appeal to other humans below the age of majority. If it looks good for one group of people, it probably is going to look good for the other group. So this is the impossible task that has been set.
If it's safer for one group, then it's probably safer for another. Whether you like it or not.
The yardstick here is that not one child. Not one.
Well,
child.
I said that earlier.
If even one child uses this, they have to throw every adult under the bus. I mean,
well, every time I have my vape anywhere near Logan and he looks at it, a kitten dies. So I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Why do you hate kittens so much, Kevin?
Oh, I love kittens. I'm just sad that they die when Logan looks at a vape. That's all. He's a 5-year-old. He can't help it. I've discussed it with him, and he don't care.
I'm really upset that you want to kill all the cats.
So there was a meme that Agent Anya did that every time a researcher, I think it was, I got to quote it improperly because I can't see it right now. Every time Glance opens his mouth, a kitten dies, which was hilarious. So in this study, I want to hear, they gave them to them for free. Eventually, I'm sure they paid themselves for their equipment, or they upgraded on their own. How many people at the beginning came back when it was over and said, "Oh Jesus, I can't live without that. I need it right now." That's what I want to hear.
Like the heroin addict, or is that what you're? I'm jonesing for a vape.
As if to say, I can't live without it. Or tell me how many people said, geez, this is working and I'm not smoking. I'd like to hear
probably everyone that quit smoking, Kevin. I mean, that's
I imagine.
I've heard tons of testimonials of people saying, I didn't think this was going to work, and it worked. And I haven't smoked a cigarette. That's very common.
That was me.
So you wanting to hear that, I mean, you've experienced it. So
it just makes
me know what
feel
happens.
Better. Warms the cockles of my heart. That's what
you don't have a heart.
Well, that's
so
true.
It's a careful balancing act that requires trade-offs, but I think it's essential that we don't make these effective smoking cessation aids less attractive to people who smoke by removing the flavors.
How about that?
More useless video here.
Yeah, they could have shown the park and birds and kids playing or whatever.
So it's the central conundrum we'll always have with e-cigarettes. On one side, helping smokers quit, and on the other side, avoiding that adolescents become addicted to nicotine.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's
Patrick.
I would much rather, and again, I'm gonna say the thing that most they don't want us to say is I'm perfectly fine with somebody getting addicted to something that's not going to kill them.
Well, can you tell me really with a straight face that no new user is going to, I got to reword that. No person will become a new user because they're a non-user at one point in their lives, and they become a user of any substance, including alcohol, cannabis, whatever it is.
Yeah.
How can you prevent that from happening?
It's not possible.
It's impossible, and therefore, ergo, if that's correct in this
ergo,
I don't give a shit when a 16-year-old kid who smokes becomes a vapor because of his age. I'd be more worried that he's a smoker than I would be that he's turned to vaping, if you will, unless he gets the Zyn and the Tide Pod mix in his mouth. Then I'd be upset.
Well, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with the Zyn. It's the Tide Pod thing.
No, I am too.
Yeah.
Well, Bubbles, right? Because that's what I think it was, Paul.
So George Mason University, the College of Public Health at George Mason University, just released a thing this week, Kevin.
I bet they did.
A study. It says new study of adolescents and young adults reveal that cognitive disabilities and major depressive episodes increase the risk of nicotine vaping.
Well,
duh.
That's the cart before the horse, wasn't it? Well, look, Bob, there's a cart.
In the topic that we've covered ad nauseum, one of our best shows ever is about nicotine and neurodiversity, which goes hand in hand with this.
This makes my head
I think
hurt.
we've proven without Kevin. We could have gotten the money for this study. They should have just given it to us.
They should have.
Yeah.
And we'd have given it to Skip and Richard.
Nah.
Said thank you.
Nah. I'd have kept it. Anywho, in 2022, 14% of high school students and 3% of middle school students reported using e-cigarettes, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. How comes we never say the CDCP?
I have no idea.
It's always just the CDC. Why don't we always forget the P? This is part of a growing trend of adolescents and young adults increasingly using e-cigarettes, also known as nicotine vaping. A new study led by Gilbert Gim, associate professor at Mason's College of Public Health, found a greater share of adolescents and young adults with cognitive disabilities engaged in past month nicotine vaping, 14.2%, compared to those without a disability, 9.6%. The study also found that major depressive episodes are associated with vaping in adolescents and young adult populations. These findings reveal that adolescents and young adults who experience major depressive episodes or have cognitive disabilities are at a higher risk of vaping. The National Institute of Mental Health defines MDE as a period of at least 2 weeks when a person experiences a depressed mood or loss of interest or pleasure in daily activities and had a majority of specified symptoms such as problems sleeping, eating, energy, concentration, or self-worth. Well, I have all but one of these.
If you need help with your self-worth, let me know.
I'm quite sure that I am awesome.
I'll knock you down a notch if you need it.
It's never worked. You have never successfully done that.
I'm here for
never,
it, Patrick.
Because my ego is way greater than your ability to knock it down. New information from this study highlights the need for additional support in early interventions for young adults who have a higher risk of nicotine vaping, said Gim, the principal. So why would you interfere with the thing that they seek out to get through their MDE?
Well,
or that helps them increase their concentration if they have cognitive disabilities. Why would you try to take that thing away from them that works for them?
I'm going to give you 2 quotes, Patrick, because you're posing the question. First one is nicotine exposure changes the way the brain functions, causing an increase in the release of dopamine. Do you think you know who said that?
Do I think I know who said that?
Yeah, well, if you do.
Is that Paul Newhouse?
No, that would be Tobacco Free Kids, and I have their link. Now, let me rephrase the question. Who do you think said this? Methylphenidine, whatever, meth and amphetamines are believed, that's underlined, to increase brain levels of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with motivation, attention, and movement. Do you think you know who said that?
CDC.
FDA.
Oh.
So if you put them on the Ritalin, they'll be just fine. But if you got them on the nicotine, you got to take them off and then fuck them. That's it. They're done.
Yeah.
You're bad kids. Bad.
2 things that do the same thing. Huh. One is made by Big Pharma and promoted heavily.
Holy shit.
The other is does the same thing but is demonized and attacked. And
imagine.
In addition to cognitive disabilities, researchers found other disability types in their past month nicotine vaping prevalence rates, which includes communication, hearing, mobility, and vision disabilities. Researchers believe that these findings can help to be helpful to school nurses, counselors, and mental health professionals in their screening of major depression as a risk factor for e-cigarette use. The research team used data from the 2021 National Survey on Drug Use and Health to conduct descriptive and multivariable analysis to estimate the national prevalence of nicotine vaping by disability type and examined major depressive episodes as a risk factor for vaping. And here's a link to the actual published paper.
So you got Nancy sitting at the school nurse office, and you got Zibby and Billy and Bob and Betty and Susan coming in going, well, I'm not feeling well. I got problems. I can't concentrate, but Mom told me to quit vaping because you fuckers keep telling me to quit vaping, and now I'm all depressed.
Yeah, I'm sad.
Whose hands are bloody, right?
Mine have been.
Oh, that's a different show.
Shh. That's for later. That's for the rumbles.
Mm.
Do you notice that none of our friends are talking in the chat room right now?
They don't like you.
A while.
Maybe they don't like me.
It's possible.
I don't know. I thought I was adding some humor. I don't know.
Are we still live? We are still live.
As far as I can tell.
It worries me that Addie and Mallory and Michelle haven't said anything for a while because
maybe we're putting them to sleep.
We could be boring.
Huh?
I don't know.
Well,
could be possible. Steve is still here. He was taking a nap. And
Michael's over there singing the bubble song.
Southern Vapor. She's I don't know what that is. I gotta look at that on YouTube.
Mr. Bubble in the tub will get you. It's fun.
Oh, she put little hearts. Okay, that's
Aww.
little hearts. Oh,
Michelle. Mal.
Yeah, just making sure that we're not just performing for ourselves.
What I watch for more than anything other than the hate comments, which on occasion might is somebody to reprimand me for being too hard on you, and it hasn't happened yet. I'm concerned.
No, well, it had because again, your feeble attempts. But Mallory has been eating chili dogs. I would not want to be with her later in the evening when the gas starts happening.
Those could be very addictive.
So anyway, Kentucky is trying to pass a bill, or they have passed a bill, or the House is in Kentucky at least, that would allow school officials to confiscate vape products when their students. So apparently, they didn't have the ability to confiscate vaping products that kids were possessing illegally in their state. So vaping on public school property is against the law in Kentucky, but some people still do it, notably students. There's a lot of things I did on campus that I wasn't supposed to do, Kevin. Just saying.
Yes.
The janitor's closet was available. I'm just saying. On Thursday, the Kentucky House took steps to change that, passing a bill to require schools to confiscate vapes and other nicotine products, plus penalize students who use them at school. Under House Bill 142, school districts would be required, at a minimum, to confiscate vape, tobacco, or other nicotine products from any student who uses the products at school or school events. If the
Is there a quota?
At a minimum, they get to confiscate. If the student is caught using the products more than once, they would receive school-level disciplinary action. After 3 or more times, they would have to receive in-school or out-of-school suspension.
Yeah.
This is much more mild compared to the Texas bill. The bill is sponsored by Northern Kentucky lawmaker Representative Mark Hart. He's a Republican from Falmouth, and former Kentucky public educator Representative Steve Riley. He's a Republican from Glasgow. I thought that was in Scotland. Anyway, both say vaping at school is a problem despite current laws that not only prohibit vaping in school, but prohibit anyone under the age of 21 in Kentucky from buying or possessing vape products. State law currently requires police to confiscate vape or tobacco products from someone under 21 if the product is in plain view of an officer. It does not, however, extend that same authority to schools. So, what if a kid in Kentucky got caught vaping last year, they didn't get their vape taken away from them?
You know, Patrick, this brings me back to what you've told me and educated myself and all the others who I love way more than you, that it's 10% of school employees. I'll just use the word employees.
No. It's 10% of school students.
10% of school students. Oh, then it's probably okay. So this is an invite for the pervs to just go, well, fuck, I gotta search him now or her.
I gotta grope you.
I gotta
grope you to
It's the
see
law.
if there's any vaping in your pocket,
It's
or
the
if
law.
you're
I got a
teenage boy.
Touchy feely.
There's a bulge in your pants. Is that a vape?
Also, along with the amendments that they're breaking, amendments, because kids have no rights again, of course, because they're under 18. The first rule, if you are an administrator and you ever hear this podcast or video, is call the fucking parents. That's your job, is to call the fucking parents. That's your fucking job.
Our policy book does not allow us to prevent or to call parents. We're immediately instructed to Paul the student to make sure that there's a vape.
If my kid came home and said somebody pawed him, either one of them, I probably wouldn't be here to search me for cigarettes, to search me for no.
I'm gonna start a GoFundMe, Kevin.
For what? James, hit the like button. Smash that like button.
I'm gonna start a GoFundMe to purchase my new firearm, Kevin. I need to start a GoFundMe. I did show it, but I have found it online. I have to buy this.
Oh, but slow down. Fuck,
You want to see the specs?
I was kind of just wondering. It's just something that I'm interested in.
It's 556, Kevin. It's
bastard. You see, bastard. So I think I need to start a GoFundMe to get the new boat because I lost all my weapons in a boating accident. So maybe they could give me a new boat at least.
Yeah, I just need this, and I know what the list price is now. So I need like $1,000.
It's nobody loves me enough, bastard. By the way, just so yeah.
I just need $999. I'll pay the rest. Just so I need a GoFundMe to
You'll do the
purchase my
transport.
new Happy.
Well,
I just
you're
just saying.
triggering our friends across the pond. Cut it out.
I know I can't help it.
Well, some of them, maybe not all. I don't know about all of them.
Anyway,
where's
this guy says, I hear over and over from school personnel the overwhelming problem with vaping, Riley said on the floor debate on the bill Thursday. So I think we all recognize this is a major problem for our young people. That matches statistics from Kentucky's 2021 Youth Risk Behavior Study, in which 21.9% of high school students surveyed said they had recently used vape products, compared to 4.9% who said that they had recently smoked a cigarette. The survey was cited in a February 8th University of Kentucky Health News report. The 2021 survey also indicated that 11.3% of Kentucky middle school students surveyed reported recent vape use. Recent cigarette use was reported at 1.6%. Dr. Melinda Ikes, assistant research dean with the UK College of Education, is quoted in the UK, and that's not the UK, that's the University of Kentucky, not UK, England, news report as saying vape use is part of a trend among young Kentucky youth and adults. Again,
yeah.
Why do you have to keep, spurging out on adults making adult decisions?
The numbers look better that way. Once they turn 18, they're now numbers, Patrick. It recreates the problem between 18 and 21, or 20.
Yeah. Kentucky historically has had pretty high tobacco use rates across all forms of tobacco, and we're still unfortunately seeing that with e-cigarettes and vaping, not only with youth, but also adults. Who cares what the adults do? The adults are allowed to do whatever the fuck they want. Even if someone is curious and just tries it a couple times, the risk of dependency increases significantly. These products are certainly not harmless, and especially for young people, they can have long-lasting effects like mood disorders, impacting brain development and things related to mental health. So again, they're putting the cart in front of the horse here, Kevin.
Well,
the
I
mental
asked
health,
about the horse.
The mental health and the mood disorders are actually indicators of why they use, not the use causing these. I mean, you and I are smart enough to know that.
I'm going to quote you, and I'm going to cut out you.
Uh-oh.
Or I'm not. I'm going to cut out your I. You are smart enough to know that. I need that as a clip, just in case Janice. She might want to. Probably.
You are smart enough to know this, Kevin.
As a chucklehead, I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you.
Yeah,
it's
House Bill 142 would require school boards to report incidents of nicotine use, along with product type, school name, and grade level, to the state every year to help lawmakers assess the use of vape and other nicotine products among youth. Any type of medical intervention needed because a student's nicotine use would be added to the report, which would then be compiled into a statewide report before September 1 each year. Vape and tobacco retailers could also see changes to their businesses as lawmakers continue to look for ways to prevent underage use and to hand the entire industry over to big tobacco. In 2023, Kentucky Youth Advocates, an advocacy group that partners with groups like Corsair Charities and Kentucky Oral Health Coalition and Kids Count for Policy Change, suggested statewide tobacco retail licensing among its proposed solutions to ensure age-appropriate sales of vape and similar products. Currently, Kentucky does not require a separate license to sell tobacco or vape products. HB 142 was, as originally written, would have required a vapor retail license, but that requirement was removed from a bill in committee. Hart said last week he expects the licensing requirement to reappear in another bill this session, but so far it hasn't. Having a license to do anything does not actually mean you're going to do it correctly. No. I think they should just pass a bill that says that you should ID verify every sale. Period.
Well, if you're licensed to drive, doesn't mean you can do it properly. We have hundreds of thousands of examples of that a year.
Well, half of the American population are female, Kevin.
Oh, no, I don't want one piece of fucking hate mail for that one. He gets it all for the rest of the show. In fact, you've got 14 minutes and it's all your problem. Fuck you.
Well,
I can't believe you just said that out loud.
I did say that out loud. And Jason's not even here, Kevin. I can't even recruit Jason because he's not even here.
Okay. Here's a suggestion for you kids. If you're, let's just say, I don't know how old you have to be to buy a butt plug or a dildo. Put a dildo or a butt plug in your pocket. Put a little peanut butter in there. And then when Mr. Johnson comes over and says, I'm going to reach in your pocket, and then he pulls that out, he won't fucking ask you twice to see what's in your pocket. You just heed my word.
Oh, that might actually turn on some of these teachers, though, Kevin.
I didn't see that coming. Right by me.
I mean,
fuck. All right, I retract my statement.
We've proven that already.
Fuck. See, Bastard's going to hold your ass down now. Mm-hmm.
He's not big enough to hold me down. He's a little Aussie.
Well,
they ain't got the gumption.
Gumption, Lord.
They allowed their whole country to get locked down during never mind. I can't say that.
It wasn't him.
He's one of them.
Plus, I think Michelle can take you anyway.
I would never hit a girl, Kevin. I would stand here and take it. I would never fight back.
See, I think we'd get a lot of fucking views. Or views, maybe after the fact, if your wife just came in, smacked you on the back of the fucking head and walked out, didn't say a word. Just
that one show might get a lot of views, unless she does it every episode. You have to watch the whole episode for the 1 minute when my wife comes in and hits me in the back of the head.
That would be so. I need her number.
I'll send it to you later.
Help.
Bloomberg is reporting this week, Kevin, that Altria plans on releasing a new blueberry vape product and will keep them away from kids.
How do they know?
I don't know, but it says Altria knows all the worries about fruity flavored nicotine devices as a lure for children, and it says it has a way to keep them just for adults as it looks for new alternatives for cigarettes. The tobacco giant is finalizing submissions to the US FDA to sell Enjoy vape products in blueberry and watermelon flavors. Chief Executive Officer Billy Gifford said Wednesday at the Consumer Analysis Group of New York conference in Boca Raton. Altria is already wanting to hear back from the FDA on a menthol version, he said. The company plans to employ Bluetooth technology that will prevent underage use in a way that it hasn't been detailed yet. We've demonstrated the age gating restrictions are effective in preventing underage access in virtually all cases, Gifford said, according to a transcript of the company's webcast.
What?
So what, you have to Bluetooth your device to your phone and somehow prove that you're an adult before you can make a toot? Is that?
Well, see, the thing is that the FDA will call them back, but they haven't called any of our friends. Not one.
Yeah, no. So you got to connect your phone to your vape, and then hold your driver's license up to the camera and take a picture before you can take a.
Stick one finger in your. Oh, never mind. That's a different show. Hold one leg up and cackle like a chicken.
On the bastard on the Rumbles, you can actually say that word. You cannot say that word here.
Mexican beer flu.
So yeah, Altria plans to get its regular tobacco flavored Enjoy vape products into 100,000 stores in 2024, up from around 75,000 last year with new packaging. Gifford said he estimated that the international opportunity to sell heated tobacco and vape products is worth $35 billion to $50 billion. After encouraging results from a launch of its larger size oral nicotine pouches on in Sweden. Altria plans to expand distribution here and launch the On Plus products in the UK this year, according to Chief Financial Officer Salvatore Mancuso.
On.
Mexican beer flu. Yeah, you can say that.
On.
But the On Plus is the bigger one, Kevin.
What are you on?
Look at these hat advertisements.
Are you people on dope?
Hat advertisements. All right, Kevin.
The hats.
All right, here. This is the last pre-Rumble article, Kevin.
Are you trying to be done at midnight?
Well, at least with the YouTube stuff, I guess
I got you. All right.
I'll have to do the Rumble stuff by myself if you're going to be.
I'm pretty impressed.
Skate out on me.
You're just skipping right along tonight.
You're like a chick over here. You're just saying, you know.
Oh my God, yeah. Well,
because you got to get up early and go drive.
Yeah,
let your wife drive. It'll be all right.
She hasn't driven since 2015.
The Critic. This is from The Critic, Kevin. It says here, this is from Christopher Snowden.
Mm-hmm.
So you know it's going to be good.
It is.
A new low in anti-vaping scaremongering. There is no great risk of oral cancer among vapers. This week's What Fresh Hell Is This news comes from Tasmania, where a veteran anti-smoking activist has proudly displayed her new anti-vaping banner. Like many public health academics in Australia, the self-described tobacco control advocate Catherine Barnsley, and hashtag mask up, climate justice, hashtag labor, has switched her attention to e-cigarettes and has warned people to look forward to unintended consequences if they vape, according to Barnsley. These consequences include cancer, heart problems, and lung disease. None of this is supported by the scientific literature, but as evidence for the first claim, she has blown up a photo of a man's mouth cancer, which sadly killed him. So obviously that's not not a lovely thing. Pat, if only I could get a vape without contracting bikies. You can go to your GP if you need e-cigarettes to quit smoking, if you tried everything else, but if you want to vape for recreational reasons, look forward to unintended consequences. This is a 19-year-old who died from mouth cancer after excessive vaping. That is not true.
No.
Regular readers will know that Australia has become deranged about vaping, but this is a new low in scaremongering. Both the photo and the claim about vaping cancer comes from a 2021 case report in the Journal of Pediatrics. It was titled Vaping the Venom, which seems a little sensationalist for an academic publication, but at least has the merit of signposting the author's biases in advance. A further indication that the authors may not be acting in good faith comes when they assert that e-cigarette use has been associated with greater than 2,600 cases of severe lung injuries and greater than 60 deaths across the nation. This is a reference to a spate of illnesses, of serious health problems caused by illegal THC vapes in North America in 2019, which had nothing to do with conventional nicotine e-cigarettes. Attributing it to e-cigarette use is disingenuous at best. The study looked at an unusual case of a 19-year-old American man whose tongue started swelling after he accidentally bit it. This developed into a large ulceration, and he was subsequently diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma. That's a nasty cancer. Despite treatment, the cancer spread, and he died 6 months later from a heart attack. It is a horrible story, but such cases are thankfully rare. The authors note that only 0.4% of oral cancers occur among people aged under 20. Risk factors include HPV infection, smoke, and alcohol use, but it can also occur among people who have none of these. Although there is no evidence that vapors are more likely to get oral cancer, the authors of pediatric study made some strong claims based on their N=1 sample, saying that it suggests that e-cigarette use may pose a carcinogenic effect and that it supports the hypothesis that vaping can cause cancer without any fucking evidence whatsoever. You will note that what?
You and I smoked for, how long did you smoke? 25, 30 years, give or take.
Something like that, yeah, give or take.
let's say 30. Let's say we both have 30 years. I've been vaping for 10. You've been vaping for 14. Shit happens, right? So you go to the doctor and you say, geez, I'm having a problem breathing. And well, yeah, you got lung cancer. Did the vaping cause it? Really? Because I smoked for 30 years. Causal? What? Go ahead. Sorry.
It says, you will note that the slight note of uncertainty in these lines is at odds with the less ambiguous denouncement that vaping as venom in the title. The claim that e-cigarettes caused the cancer in this instance rests solely on the fact that the patient was a vapor. He was also a former smoker of cigarettes who took up smoking marijuana after biting his tongue, but this gets short shrift as an explanation from the authors. His alcohol consumption is not mentioned at all. Case reports of this kind can be useful to medical practitioners, but they were never designed to identify the cause of illnesses, and they are totally incompatible or incapable of doing so. Although vaping cannot be discounted as a risk factor for oral cancer, any investigation should begin by asking whether there has been a rise in young people getting oral cancer since e-cigarettes came on the scene, and whether oral cancer is more common among vapors who have never smoked and among other non-smokers. A case study of a solitary individual tells us absolutely nothing and looks more like exploitation of a personal tragedy than a serious scientific endeavor. The authors may not have expected their little study to be used to justify the claim that e-cigarettes kill on a 7-foot-tall banner in Tasmania, but I doubt they will be too disappointed. This is how misinformation snowballs. Academics produce obscure research making speculative claims, which are amplified by unscrupulous activists.
Idiots.
Unscrupulous activists. I like
idiots.
I might name a show "Unscrupulous Activists" at some point.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Who remove any trace of nuance. Before you know it, people who think e-cigarettes are as dangerous as smoking outnumber those who understand the risks are slightly smaller. Speaking of smoking, every country that has embraced vaping as part of tobacco harm reduction has seen an acceleration in the decline of smoking rates. In Tasmania, by contrast, the smoking rate rose from 12% to 15% between 2019 and 2022. Perhaps tobacco control activists like Catherine should stick to their day job. That is a very unfortunate incident.
The sound bite for the end of that one should have been like the was it Bob Barker show there?
The Price is Right.
Oh, The Price is Right. Where they go or when they lose the big show at the end. All right, Patrick, I'm gonna no. That'll work. I'm gonna bid you adieu.
Adieu.
I don't know why I have
adieu.
I do. You do. Do. I'm going to bed. William popped in.
You still have 1 minute. It's only 11, Kevin. It's not even midnight yet.
You look, William popped in. I didn't.
The only time that matters is where I am, Kevin.
Well, then there you go. No matter where you are, there you go. No matter where you are, there you go. No matter where you go, there you are.
Kevin's abandoning us just when the show is getting good. We're gonna go to the Rumbles.
I got shit to do tomorrow.
I take a shit every day.
Stop.
It's very important, actually.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you might get some sort of disease or something.
Keep being productive and angry.
Well, we'll play a little video piece while Kevin skips out. Kevin, say goodbye to all of our friends.
Goodbye to all of our friends. I love you more than I love Patrick. And I'm sorry, I hate to disappoint, but yeah.
You are very disappointing. But anyway, all right. We'll see you over in the Rumbles in like 3 or 4 minutes. Okay. Bye. Bye.
The question: how does one man assert power over another? Obedience is not enough. Power is inflicting pain and humiliation, otherwise you cannot be sure. Power is tearing human minds apart and putting them together again in new shapes of your own choosing. Power is not a means, it is an end. All competing pleasures we will destroy. If you want a vision of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new gods for their future security.
But guess what? We got a lot to do. Gotta say hi to me. We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway.
Good evening, my fellow Americans.
The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too.
Who decides that the workday is from 9 to 5 instead of 11 to 4? Who decides that the hemlines will be below the knee this year and short again next year? Who draws up the borders, controls the currency, handles all of the decisions that happen transparently around us?
I'm with them.
At White House Senior Living, our residents feel right at home. Our vibrant facility offers delightful activities and outings, round-the-clock professional care, and exquisite house-made meals.
Well, I've been eating everything that's put in front of me. I've been eating all Italian foods, basically.
And ice cream.
And ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream.
White House Senior Living, where residents feel like presidents.
Where residents feel like presidents. Okay, so Kevin left us. I appear to have a little bit of a lag, but it'll catch up in here in a second. So just give everybody a minute here to get in, and we will start the madness because I'm by myself because Jason didn't show up tonight, and I'm not gonna beg. I'm not gonna beg for somebody to come and hang out with me. It's not gonna happen. So anyway, how's let's see who's over here. So Mallory and Bastard and Homicidal are here. Who else is there's? I know that there's people here. I see more people crawling in right now. So everybody say hi as you enter the room, so I know that you're here and I don't accidentally hit you with friendly fire. We have some artificial intelligence stuff. We have some Biden stuff. We have stuff. We're gonna talk about stuff. It should be fun. And yeah, social media stuff. But y'all are here. So I can close my can close my picture of my gun. I don't need that open anymore. I am going to start a GoFundMe for a gun fund for Patrick, but just not tonight. But anyway, so while you guys are coming in, I will show you one of the things we're going to talk about. This is perfect for our crowd here. This is great information for you guys. It says that artificial intelligence reveals that the brains of men and women are organized differently. Actually, that just should say that men's brains are organized and women's aren't. No, I didn't say that. No. Don't you try to cancel me. It's not going to happen. I won't allow it. But anyway, it says a team led by Stanford University published in the Journal of PNAS a study based on a new artificial intelligence model that determines with more than 90% accuracy whether brain activity scans come from a man or a woman. Oh, I guess I am still let me close out all these other things. Let me do this real quick. I forgot to do that during the time I should have done this already. So officially say goodbye right now to YouTube. Goodbye, YouTube. Let's do that again. Remove